Wow, did not see that coming. I get emotional from time to time, so clearly I picked the wrong person to introduce me. Sara Lee Cake, are you kidding me? But the icing is really good on this cake, I gotta tell you. My mistake was doing it more than once. First time, Mom got the cake replaced at the Acme. Second time, they came looking for me. So, anyhow, I guess I'd like to start by thanking the AIMSI board. I would like to thank everyone that has been involved in this process. Mark Sullivan, I believe, who nominated me. All of those who supported me over the years. I'd especially like to thank Kathy Hoskins and her team, our AIMSI staff, for putting on just a wonderful conference. So, Chaz hit the nail on the head when he said that my preference would be to talk about others. I'd rather deflect, and Tim talking about Tim is not what I like to do. So I stand before you as a humble AIMSI servant. What I do is who I am. And it's amazing when you give from the heart with no strings attached, what can come back to you tenfold. And I'm here to tell you, it does. So I never knew Dick Lothrop. I've heard a lot of fantastic stories about Dick, the founder of AIMSI. But I do know Neil Howe, who was last year's Lothrop Award recipient. And I also know Victor Zolo very well, who won the award and was recognized as the 5th Lothrop Award winner in 2004. So to Neil and to Victor, thank you for being here tonight. Since Chaz and I never really talked before his opening remarks, there might be a little repetition here, but I wanted to open by thanking Dave Marvin and Todd Marvin for introducing me to this wonderful industry. As Chaz said, I was with SmithKline for 18 years. When I got the call, I wasn't even aware of this wonderful industry that we all work in. So I thank them for introducing me to the industry. And then I owe a huge thanks to my new family at DRZ, and I would like, if you would, to please stand Victor Zolo, Kelly Carbone, please stand, Amy Fox, and Kurt Wood, who changed their schedules to be here tonight to recognize me. Thank you. For me, AIMSI is a very special association, a not-for-profit volunteer organization comprised of salespeople who are all about giving back to others, paying it forward, as we say today. The network of friends that I have made through AIMSI is very special to me, and so many of you are here tonight. And I can't thank you for that friendship, and I look forward to continuing to give back on a regular basis and make new friends at this conference and hopefully for many AIMSI conferences to come in the future. Chaz mentioned what I refer to as some of the bumps in the road with my health that did start about 11 years ago. When I was first diagnosed in 2004 with stage 4 Hodgkin's, I kind of decided that we needed to create a foundation that I would use to fight this. And so in fact, my foundation were the 4 F's. Yes, I'm from Penn State. My faith, my family, my friends, and anyone that's ever been sick, you rely so heavily on your physician care. And you have to trust 100% that you're getting the right care so that you can focus all your energies on fighting the good fight and not worried about, is the doctor going to do the right thing? So for me, that 4th F is very important. When it comes to my faith, I believe that in God, all things are possible. I ask for His guidance on a daily basis. And I don't believe in coincidences. I like to refer to coincidences as fingerprints from God. And I thought I'd just take a minute to share one of those. Maybe when I share this story, you'll say, it's just a random coincidence. And maybe it is, but I choose to believe otherwise. And so this story has to do with my second bump in the road. I am entering the hospital, and I am in the elevator with my lovely wife, Nancy. We're getting ready to go upstairs to one of the rooms where I'm going to be for a couple of days getting treatment. And we're in the elevator getting ready to go up to my room. And just as the elevator doors are closing, this lady sticks her hand in the door. The elevator doors open, and in walks this lady with this dog. Nice, big, beautiful dog. And I didn't know it at the time, but many of you, I guess, are familiar with patient care dogs. They come into hospitals to help lift the spirits for those patients who would enjoy that kind of interaction with that dog. And so I'm patting this dog because I love dogs. And we're in the elevator ride up, and we get to the floor I'm going to get off on. But before I get there, the elevator doors open, and the lady with the dog starts walking off. And I say matter-of-factly, what a beautiful dog, what's the dog's name? And the lady says, well, her name is Lucy. Well, there are a few people in this room that know that my mother's name was Lucy. My mother passed away probably in 1997, so 13 years prior to this, she had passed away. My mother used to raise Labrador retrievers. We would have litter after litter of Labrador retrievers. I grew up, sometimes I thought Mom liked the puppies more than she liked us children. But she was very close that way with dogs. We grew up loving dogs, our children love dogs. And so here is this patient dog whose name happens to be Lucy. And when they're getting off and she says that, I got emotional and I could not believe that coincidence. And then of course I chose to believe that it wasn't a coincidence. And then as God would have it, or as the fates would have it, I go up into my room with Nancy. I lie down and Nancy goes, so do you recognize this room? I said, no. She goes, well, it's room, call it 236. It was the exact same room my mother was in when she was getting treatment, call it 10 years ago. So here I am, coming into the hospital, randomly meeting this person who has a patient care dog, whose name is Lucy, and I end up in the room where my mother, Lucy, got treated, and we were in that room with her when she went through her treatment. So, coincidence? I choose not to believe that it is. I believe it's a fingerprint from God. And I believe they're all around us if our eyes are open for them. So that's a little touch on my faith. Faith family. My family has been my rock through this. Chaz, you hit the nail on the head with Nancy. She was my rock. She was our rock as a family. And we're blessed to have 4 wonderful children. 3 of those children have graduated college and are off the payroll. Very pleased to say. I mean, they're gainfully employed. And the 4th is wrapping up his sophomore year at Penn State, go figure. So family has been very near and dear to me and continues to be. And then my friends that never, ever did I feel as though when I was walking through some of these tough times that I ever walked alone. I shared because my friends shared with me. And I stayed connected because I wanted to be surrounded by that positive energy, by that love. And that, for me, made all the difference in the world in my fight. So, to many of you here tonight, my friends are in 2 huge circles. And those 2 largest circles are my platform tennis community of friends and my AIMSy friends. For me, this is like a large fraternity and sorority blended into one, and I feel blessed to be a part of it. So to you, I say thank you. So the other comment that I would make in general, and for those of you who know me, I'm a positive kind of guy. Half cup full probably doesn't quite describe the enthusiasm I bring to the table, and it's genuine. People always talk about, you turn it on or turn it off. It's like, no, that's just who I am. And I'm a competitor. I happen to have that through my sports, and for all of us here, I would suspect that every single sales and service person in this room is a competitor. And if you are a competitor, if you run into a problem, be it at work or with your health, you're probably going to put together a game plan and figure out the best way to fight the good fight. Because that's what we do when we compete. And it transfers, whether it is business, family, or health. Fighting the good fight and being that type of competitor, and hopefully being a positively oriented competitor, I believe makes a world of difference. So, 2 codes that I live by. One code comes from Charles Swindoll. His line that I love is that 10% of life is what happens to you, and 90% is how you choose to deal with it. Said another way, it's all about attitude. For the golfers out there, of which I am not, thank you, Chaz, humbling to put it mildly, the analogy I would use is that golfer that hits the ball behind the tree. And there the ball sits behind the tree. Well, you can be in denial that the ball ended up there. You can be angry that the ball ended up there. You can think over and over and over again how I could have possibly hit a ball that could have gone in that trajectory and landed behind the tree. But at the end of the day, you have to play your next shot. And so for me, if being angry or in denial or stressing over the bumps in the road that I've had, if that would have helped me, in my opinion, that's what I would have done. But I believe that being positive and taking that 10% of what happens to you and applying 90% how you choose to deal with it makes all the difference in the world. So, for me, that's one of my creeds. My second creed, believe it or not, comes from my days at Penn State. I am a proud SAE member of the Pennsylvania State University. And for any of you fellow Penn Staters, of which I know there's at least one in Chip Ridley, I know there are other Penn Staters out there. There have to be. Pete, you're out there, but you may not be an SAE. There we are. There's a creed that we all learn when we join that fraternity, when we pledge. And that creed is called The True Gentleman, written by Sir John Walter Wayland. And in The True Gentleman, there are a number of different statements, but one of the statements that resonates with me is a statement that the true gentleman thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own. Very, very simple. To think of the rights and feelings of others rather than your own. How many of us put our own feelings well before the other person? It's easy to say, it's one of my goalposts. I'm surely not there all the time, but I strive to consistently try to think of the rights and feelings of others rather than my own. I live by that creed. So, in closing, by the way, I think that creed, thinking of the rights and feelings of others rather than your own, I think that resonates with so many AIMSI members here and so many AIMSI members in our association that are all about giving back and giving to others and giving back. So, ironically enough, how am I introduced to AIMSI back when I joined this industry in 1999? How do I even find out about AIMSI when you first joined this industry? Well, for me, I was introduced to AIMSI over a dinner in New York City with one person I had just met and the other I met that night. And those two people happen to be here tonight. In fact, they're two of my best friends in the industry. That would be